Thanks so much for joining me for another day of Vlogmas. We are recapping the year, my top 5s of each brand, or 7 or 10 or whatever I come up with. I've also been recapping my top 5 or so in each category, and today we've got blushes and bronzers. And I do think I have 5 of each this time. Before we start though, I just wanted to say thank you so much for subscribing if you have recently subscribed. We have a goal of reaching 25,000 by the end of the year. I know that's a couple of thousand before the end of the year, which is coming upon us very quickly, but I would really love it if you would subscribe if you have not already subscribed. And if you have subscribed, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and start with blush. So I love blush. I think blush is one of the most transformative things that I can put on my face. I feel like without blush, I haven't completed my makeup. And this is a newer blush this year. This is by Chanel, and I have 3 of these, and this is the coolest one of the 3, and it's the one I pull for most. So even though I have warm tones to my skin, I also have neutral tones, and sometimes when I go with warmer tones, they can get lost on my skin. I do love a good warm blush to help with the discoloration in the front, which is so much better now, but I love cool blushes in general. I love cool eyeshadows, cool blushes. So I'm gonna just apply a little bit of this on. I already have on, what do I already have on? I played with blushes before this. I have a little bit of the Valentino blush that of course we're gonna talk about in a moment here. And I started off with another one we're gonna talk about in a moment, but I thought I'd add a little pop of color here just because I think it just wakes up the face. So not too much, just a little pop of color there. You can see that coolness. But again, this is by Chanel Rose Ardent. And it looks like this. It's got a creaminess about it, really skin flattering. Does not look like powder on the skin. It just looks like really pretty skin with some color. So very beautiful blush, one of the prettiest blushes I've tried this year. The first bronzer, we have something I've been pulling for quite a bit. It is O2 Atlas. This is by Hermes, and this is one of the most unique bronzers out there because it is warm toned. It is very challenging to find a warm tone bronzer. I find many that have a gray tone to them or a red tone to them. So I love that this is warm. It's very unusual. Guerlain is the closest, although Guerlain can tend to have more of a terracotta, more orangey element to it. This does not have an orange element. It has a golden element to it. So it also looks really natural. Like if I wanted to dust over my nose, let's see, do I want to do that? Just really quickly, let's just dust on the nose as if I've been in the sun. This is a Sonia G Brush, by the way, and I will list it below, but it was specifically made for bronzing. It's not supposed to move around makeup as you apply bronzer. So that's one of the reasons I use this so much, why you see it in place so often. It's a really lovely brush. I travel with this one even though it's a larger size, and it's looks like it actually has been used quite a bit. I have so much makeup that even when I use makeup a lot, it's very hard to tell I've used it, but this one has definitely been used up quite a bit. Continuing with this cool toned theme, one of the most cool toned blushes that I love and one of the most skin flattering blushes that I have is this one by Clé de Peau. And this is what I started out with. That's the very first layer of blush that I had on. I did not film the Get Ready With Me. I kind of just wanted to play around with some of the products because I'll be filming my favorites of 2024 very soon. So I just wanted to make sure that my choices really were my choices. So I tested out a lot of them here together just to make sure that's really what I thought. It's always nice to just pull it together and make sure that yes, these indeed are my favorites and I wasn't looking for something else along the way. So I did not film this, but it's very close to my favorites if you want to tune into that. So this is in 102. Not all the Clé de Peau blushes are created equally. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw that, but this is also like their eyeshadow. If you have it, it pops out of this case and they are bought individually like this. So they pop in very easily and they're very secure once they're in there. This has 2 sides to it, this more intense side and then this lighter side. I blended them together today. Sometimes I'll put this lighter, that's not lighter, this darker shade in the middle, and then I'll use this to blend. It's more glowy than the Valentino blush that I love so much. So just know there's a bit more glow. It's not larger particles, it's just more of them. At least that's how it appears. So it does have a glowy nature to it. In fact, shall we put some on? Let me just show you what I mean. I'm gonna have a lot of blush here in a moment, but you can see it's adding glow, not adding chunky particles, but just more of a glow. So if you like that, it's not like one of those blushes that has highlighter in it either though. It's not like that, but it does have more glow. So I've got that on. I believe this is the only bronzer carried at Chantecaille. Now it's their powder bronzer. This one is the Sunstone bronzer in Real Bronze. And this one is also really beautiful. Also very skin flattering. I'm gonna have a lot of bronzer here at the end of the day. But it also is very flattering on the skin. That's a very common theme with well, all my products in general that I pick. They're very skin beautifying, skin flattering. Let's just fix this. This is a problem with the bangs. Once they're out of place, they look really out of place. Very flattering though. Love this one. Makes the skin look even more beautiful and easy to use, easy to blend. Great shade. It's a little bit more neutral than the Hermes, but doesn't have that red undertone that I know doesn't work for me. Just like Clé de Peau, Chantecaille also makes products that are very skin flattering, so this would be another skin flattering product that they carry. On to a liquid blush. So this is the Make Me Blush Liquid Blush by YSL. This is new to me this year, and shall we put this on? Because I feel like we have so much blush on, but let's put it on. I love this shade. This is the shade 44. So I've looked at the other shades. In fact, I have this one and I haven't really experimented with it the way I wanted to. I wanted to see if it would do a bit of camouflaging for my dark spots to counter that darkness, but I've not yet really figured out how best to use this. But I do have this. I like the formulation. I like that it dries down nicely. Take this Hourglass brush. So much blush, but I just want to show you how pretty these are. Yes, if you're looking for something that's not going to have a powdery appearance to it, this is really pretty. Might have to go in with one of my favorite powders here in a little bit just to take this down, but hopefully the demo helps a little. These have been featured in a video at some point, probably several times at this point, so if you are not new here, you will have seen these, but I'm including swatches as well in case you have not ever seen my videos before, so thank you again so much for joining. This could probably cross into the realm of blush as well, but I don't love the blush by itself as much as I love the other blushes by itself, but this is by Chanel. It's one of their Le Beige Healthy Glow Sunkissed powders, and this is the one in light coral. This is the one that I think out of all of them, everyone else was enjoying this as well. So this addresses quite the range. In terms of tone, it seems like this worked for a lot of people, including me, which I'm medium tone. Yeah, I love this bronzer as well. I love this tone here. You can see it doesn't have that red undertone either. Actually worked well with this to get in there and really isolate that and then use it as a bronzer. I'm not gonna put any more because I have so much. I'm looking at the viewfinder and it looks like I have a lot of blush and a lot of bronzer on, but I've demoed this several times, so it was a go-to. I also love this dusted as a bronzer where you put it all together and then you just dust it on the high points because there's a little bit of glow there too, so it's really beautiful. And I use this one quite a bit. Let's take this down just slightly. So I'm going in with a little bit of dim light here by Hourglass, and I'm just gonna take down and buff this so it's not so much. Yeah, I could also use the Perfect Blur Powder by Chantecaille if I wanted to, but I mean, there's the difference. You can see it's softer, it's more blended, it's not as bright anymore, which I think, oh, I almost put in the wrong thing, which I think happened because I'm applying these blushes on top of each other. Just softens it though. For my favorite cream blush, this is Victoria Beckham in Major. I have not used it as much this year, but it still is a favorite because it doesn't lift off makeup. I'm swatching it here, but I'll swatch it for you as well. I would add it, but I feel like I have too much blush on. But this was one of the first blushes. This, and there's a Westman Atelier also is a great one for not lifting off makeup because I would work so hard to conceal and then I would apply a cream blush and it would lift off the makeup. This doesn't do that. I also will stipple this on with a blush brush, something like this by Clé de Peau is great. It's a synthetic brush. really great at applying blush without lifting off makeup underneath. So I love the look of cream blush, but I don't love all cream blushes because they can't emulsify makeup underneath. This doesn't do that. And this is a lovely shade as well. It is more of a neutral shade. There's just the perfect amount of cool and warm in there for me. So it pretty much goes with everything. Very natural look. So if you love Victoria Beckham and you love cream blush products, this one is really, really pretty. Like I'm losing count, even though I have them laid out. Okay, if we don't have exactly 5, it's great. I do have this one though, the Dior Bronzer stick. This is one of the most seamless bronzers I've used. There is a fragrance, so I was just trying to check if there's fragrance. So some of you have let me know that fragrance is something you are concerned with. There is one on this, but for me, fragrance typically is not an issue. But this is a really pretty warm bronzer as well. I swatched this with all the other shades in an initial video, and all of the other bronzer shades that they had were cool tones, so they would be more like a contour. But this is a true bronzer on me, and I love this shade. I think it's a perfect medium shade with warm tones in it. So if you are around my shade, if you are warm neutral, this is beautiful. It works seamlessly with their foundations, but this also works well with other foundations. So it doesn't have to only be used with the Dior foundation, which I also really love, but it's great just on bare skin as well. It does a beautiful job. Meshes really nicely with the skin. It's just pretty looking. So I love this, especially on the exterior, because I don't powder on the exterior because I like that glow. I like it to look really natural. And this really helps maintain that. So I really like this for those no makeup looks, or also if I do go more intense on an eye and I want something very skin-like, then this is really pretty. I like to keep the skin looking really natural, especially with a more dramatic eye, more dramatic lip. So this helps maintain that finish on the skin that looks really, really natural. Of course, we have to have this one, Valentino 09. I finished off with this. That's the first, not the first. I had the Clé de Peau 102, and then I put on Valentino 09 on top. I love this for everything. I love it for when I don't have foundation. I love it for when I just have a little bit of concealer. I love for when I have a lot of makeup and I can finish off with this, especially softening other blushes with it. It's just such a great shade for me. It is more of like a tawny neutral. So I think that's a unique shade also in terms of the blushes. I featured a lot of cool toned blushes and neutral blushes, but this is like a tawny blush. So I think that's another unique aspect of it, that it works well with other shades. I can layer it on top. I can soften other blushes with it. I can add a pop of color. It helps to blur that hyperpigmentation in the front for me. It's skin beautifying. It's just got the right amount of glow. So Valentino 09, you have seen this almost in every video. So I just had to make sure to include that in here. And I'm not sure if I went over my 5 on bronzers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is also one of those skin-like appearance bronzers, because obviously this is not a powder, it's not a stick, it is a cream. This is like a skincare makeup hybrid type product, pudding-like texture. So I love this with the gold version of this. Very soft, glowy product. It's a no make, I mean, this is as close to no makeup as I'm going to get. A little bit of a dimension. I can also mix this in with other products to deepen them. So if you want to kind of custom mix, I think this is a great product. If you have the rose glow or again, the gold glow, you can mix that in with this. I use it as a bronzer in the summer. I actually use this as a foundation when I get that tan. It's a blurring, skin perfecting product that is just seamless on the skin. So if you're looking for something very, very natural, you want some dimension, you just want a little bit of color, this is so pretty. Again, very skin flattering, doesn't look like makeup on the skin, but you just see the beautiful results of it. And I had to add a +1 blush because I am using this more on the daily, because I like to protect my skin from the sun, because I have done so much work trying to get rid of the discoloration. It's getting so much better, so I like to protect it. So I go in with a blush that's SPF 50, and it's this right here by Ciele. And this is the one, I've had many. Actually, I was just looking at them. I think I've tried, they right here. What did I do with them? I was just looking at them. I think I have 4 shades, like 4 different pink shades in this Ciele blush. This though is Behati, and it's a really, really pretty shade. I will go in with their concealer and then go in with this and then pat it on top, so I know it's protecting here and here. So this is probably, outside of the Valentino, my most used daily blush, just because I want that protection, especially right here. This is where the sun hits my face because I've got cheekbones right here, hits the front of my face. Actually more of a reflection of the sun because I'm rarely in direct sun, but I know it bounces off pavement and other surfaces and will hit my skin. So any of these more prominent areas, I know they are subject to some sun exposure. So I try to protect, especially up here, these dark spots, and then also I don't want any new dark spots, and it's really, really nice. And as always, I would love to know what your favorites are. What are your favorite blushes and bronzers? What's the finish that you like? Do you like glow? Do you like it more matte? And let us know what skin type you have as always, because I think based on skin type, some of these products may work better than others. So please leave that in the comment section below. Oh yeah, and also just a reminder, those things that are popping up here, those are shoppable tabs that are like affiliate links, but they allow you to click on the product, see it while you're watching the video, and find out more information. And if you want to, add it to your basket. And if you do use those, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other. Stay well if you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. It's very natural looking, so I'll go in with a looking when I go in with a more dramatic art. With all of the other shades, I had a, okay, now this is stuck to my lips.